Well, hello there. It is Sunday, and you are in the Temple of the Ten Commandments. Welcome. What we'd like to do today is take you through the temple and show you what's here and give you an idea of what happens in a synagogue. So, as you can see, right in front of me, I have a menorah, which is a 7-branched candelabra. Right here. This candelabra is very, very special. We're going to talk about it in about 10 seconds. We have a couple of them. The 7-branched candelabra is an important symbol in Judaism, and this particular candelabra was a special gift to the Temple of the Ten Commandments. And I have one of the creators of this menorah right here with us today, Matt Delva, whom some of you know, and I'm going to invite Matt up here to talk about how this menorah was created.
Thank you, Rabbi. So this menorah here was created when I was part of the barn staff. I was the barn director back in 2016. And so that year it was myself as the barn director, and then on the staff we had Kyle off here. And this was actually we were helped to create this by master plumber Steve and Jason from Troop 44 Gloucester, who's been a great friend over many years. And so this is actually entirely made out of copper pipe. And so there's various widths of copper pipe on here. And then these cups at the top where the candles would rest is actually pretty much like a valve cover to a larger width pipe. But then once we finished soldering it all together, we then just coated it in black spray paint. And it was a gift to the rabbi for his many years of service to Camp W.
Thank you, Matt. And our menorah occupies an honored place in our temple right up front. If you come to the temple on any day when we really are having camp, you'll see it right here sitting above our ark. So we want to thank Matt and Kyle and Mr. Jason for this beautiful, beautiful gift. 7 in Jewish tradition is a very, very, very important number. You know there are 7 days in a week. And 7 means complete. It means satisfaction. It means whole. So every time we see this 7, we want to think about how we would want to have a world that is whole and be whole in our body and our spirit and our mind. You also see another menorah. This is a replica of the menorah that was in the temple 2,000 years ago. This is made of PVC pipe. This was made by my children, my 2 sons, with help from a couple of other classmates. It's been actually sitting outside the Temple of the Ten Commandments, and people would pass by it as they come in for services. Now it's inside, and once again, we keep these menorahs as reminders of who we are and where we've been. So moving on, we have, this was the door of the old Temple of the Ten Commandments. Now, for many of you who don't know, the place where I am standing, we are standing here in the new Temple of the Ten Commandments. It's about 32 or 33 years old. The old Temple of the Ten Commandments, was down in what is affectionately known as the swamp, which is now has been a program center for the Webelos, their mining company, where they go mine for little semi-precious stones. However, once upon a time there were Jewish services down there, and this was the door to the ark, which we have right here. was the door to that ark. And after many, many years, it came to us. It was stained, and we put it on our wall again as a reminder of where we've come and where we've been. So, if you were to walk by the challenge field, and every single one of you at some point has or will, you would have seen an orange can top that looks like this. And this was the last marker of the temple, old temple of the Ten Commandments. And it says, site of the old temple of the Ten Commandments. Once upon a time, had you gone to the challenge field, you would see this and it would direct you down to the swamp. Well, for a long time, there were Jewish services on Shabbat down there at that place, at the swamp. However, after a while, the mosquitoes became so big, you couldn't tell the difference between them and a bird. And then it was decided to move the Temple of the Ten Commandments to where it is right now. I am standing in the old section of the Temple of the Ten Commandments. Several years later, we realized that this temple was too small, and there was an addition that was added to it. So any of you who have actually come to the Temple of the Ten Commandments, if you were sitting towards the back, you would be sitting in the new section, and you would see me standing in the old section of the new Temple of the Ten Commandments. So, moving along, right above me here is our Ner Tamid. We call it the Ner Tamid. This is our eternal light. The menorah, back to the menorah in the temple of old was always burning. There were people priests whose job it was to keep the oil reservoirs filled, to keep the menorah burning day and night. Today we don't have that menorah. We have a reminder of that menorah in this Ner Tamid, this eternal light. Every synagogue in the world has one of these. Sometimes they are to the side of the ark. Sometimes they are just above the ark. Now, if you look above the ark, or to the side, you will see a Star of David, a six-pointed star. It is called the Shield of David, and we think that was the symbol that was on the shields of King David's warriors. To me, it turns out that it's two triangles. If you see, there's a triangle pointing up. There's a triangle pointing down. The triangle was a delta. It's the letter D. I think that this star was actually a stylized way of spelling the name of King David, because if you notice in Hebrew that David is spelled in Hebrew, it's a palindrome, and it reads the same way in either direction. I believe this was a way of representing the name of King David. So, moving on, we have our ark. If you also see, just as an aside, on our flag, you can also see the Star of David. That's on the flag of Israel, the Jewish flag. And if you look at a dollar bill, the stars on the dollar bill, all of those stars on the dollar bill are in the shape of a Star of David. It's absolutely amazing what you can find if you look carefully. So this is our ark. It holds our Torah. Every synagogue in the world has an ark, usually at the front of the synagogue. And on the ark, right in front, there are 10 phrases. I'll give you one guess what those 10 phrases represent. If you said they represent the 10 Commandments, you're absolutely right. Why? Because we're in the temple of the 10 Commandments. I'm going to open our ark now. Right here, this is our Torah Scroll. The Torah Scroll is handwritten by a specially trained person called a scribe who writes the Torah Scroll letter by letter, word for word, with a very special kind of pen and ink. Every Torah in the world, every scroll in the world is exactly alike, down to the number of letters and words and paragraphs. Some Torahs are very, very special. Every column in the scroll begins with the same letter. And some are even so special that every column has exactly 51 lines. Because the ink is so special, and because if any letter gets erased, we cannot read the Torah, we use a pointer. The Torah is read using a pointer. Now here at Yagu, I have a whole box full of pointers. Some of them are very, very elegant. Some of them are made of different materials. This is bamboo. This is a two-sided pointer. And this one is the only Torah pointer that I know that is left-handed. And this was made for me because I'm a lefty. So we have those. Now, we always use the pointer to read the Torah. One year, Bigfoot was studying for his bar mitzvah, and he made us a pointer too. So this is Bigfoot's contribution to the Yagu pointers. Now, this is a very special Torah for another reason, because this very top right here was made for us at Yagu. The Torah is rolled and attached to two dowels on each side. There's a dowel here and a dowel here. This dowel has a cap. Each end of this Torah lost its cap, and the cap, we have a new cap that was made right here at Camp Yagu. This was the first Torah that I ever read from when I first moved down to Rhode Island, which was long before most of you were born. And I read it for a while. Then it disappeared. And then one year, it was donated to us here at the Temple of the 10 Commandments on a permanent loan to be able to be used for us at camp. You can see here the 10 Commandments again on the two tablets, just like on the front of the ark. Once again, these are the 10 Commandments because we are at the Temple of the 10 Commandments. If you look around, you can see other things. There are pictures that remind us of what has happened here, people who have been here, people who have visited here. On the other side of the wall, there are plaques with the names of people who have earned their religious awards here, and plaques that depict the Temple of the 10 Commandments right over here. So, that kind of concludes our tour of the Temple of the Ten Commandments. But there are a couple of things that I always say on Sunday. When I speak to you, if you've been here before, you remember. I think the most important point of the Scout Law is, which one do you think it is? I think it is, a Scout is reverent. Reverent means respectful. Respect for myself, respect for God, respect for others, respect for the world around me. I will tell you that this is my 20th year coming to Yadu.